Hi. So I just thought that I'll make this video because I came across this term this morning called Zoom fatigue, and I understand what it is about because since last year, when this pandemic began, we've been inside our homes, in our offices, working from home, and one of the things that has helped us to get through this time has been Zoom and they have changed so much from the time that we first saw that software or app, and now it's completely different. So they have ramped up their features and everything, and it has become so much better. But I was thinking this morning about the flip side of it. As Zoom has been able to ramp up their abilities to help our lives become easier, on our side, it has become more difficult, especially for teachers. So I thought I'll just quickly make this video because I think that we need to learn not just how to use technology, also learn how to cope up with the ill effects of that technology. Anything too much will cause problems, and I am sure that many of you that are watching this video will have faced that problem, will or maybe do on a regular basis. Maybe you are saying these kind of sentences which, when will this end? When will I be able to switch off the Zoom? When will I be able to switch off the video and come face to face with the children or my family or friends, whatever? So there are some signs that I want to talk about this morning about Zoom fatigue. So Zoom fatigue is not about Zoom; it's about virtual or digital fatigue. So some signs are there. There is burnout. In the same way that we work too much and we face burnout, that's a sign of Zoom fatigue. Exhaustion. Maybe you feel tired after a meeting and you feel like, I don't know what is happening, but I feel completely exhausted. Forgetfulness, being not being present in a meeting mentally. You may be there physically, but mentally you are having problems, not just in meetings, but when you meet people offline or your family members, you find yourself not there in your mind. Frustration, maybe at the situation not changing, difficult economic situations, news that we see on television or on the apps, and always and that causes us to be on edge all the time. So we snap faster, we get angry faster, we shout, scream faster, we lose our cool and patience faster, maybe. This is a sign of that Zoom fatigue. Physically, there is muscle pain, there is tension, there is fatigue, there is insomnia. Even I know of a couple of people that have been complaining of no sleep, teachers, because because this digital screen takes away our sleep. So too much of it is going to cause insomnia. So these are some signs of this digital fatigue that you may or may not experience, but these are things that are a reality today. It's not something that is out there which may happen or not. It is happening. um, why are these virtual meetings exhausting? Why? Because there has to be a reason, right? So your brain has to work harder while you're in a virtual meeting. You have to, because you are being seen on camera most of the times, you have to look present also. You need to be able to respond. You may respond as soon as a question is asked, so you need to be always on. You need to be present there mentally. Then there is home interference anxiety. We might be at home teaching, and a part of our brain is continuously thinking about the dog shouldn't bark, there shouldn't be any disturbance, the children shouldn't come in, and we've seen enough videos on YouTube of interference at home. That could be an anxiety. So these are and therefore your brain is working much harder than you were offline. In a online meeting, you cannot move, because your camera is stable. In a classroom setting offline, you can actually move while teaching. You can change eye contact, you can move your body, but not on online meeting. So your brain actually is working much harder, and that causes more exhaustion than you would be in a offline meeting. So how do you cope? The first thing, and these are coping mechanisms that I have tried out. So it's not from a book. It's just some things that I have tried out. Tap out. Say, I cannot. No. Or some meetings that you know that you can avoid. Say no, I cannot do it. Schedule your meetings accordingly, according to how much you can take. Take breaks. Take breaks. Turn off your video cam in that place or in that meeting when the video is not necessary. Turn it off. Tell the people that you're going to turn off your video and turn it off. So some part of your brain activity will reduce. The anxiety will reduce. Um, Schedule meetings for things you actually want to do. There are a lot of meetings that I know we do that are for things that we might actually do over email. So you can actually do an email to your team or your people, maybe not in a teacher-student scenario, but in a different scenario. And you can do those meetings on email. So schedule meetings that you know that you must do, and then use the digital media not just to do the serious kind of thing. Do fun things on Zoom. Talk with people, talk with your students, schedule a 30-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute fun session with your children, with your students in class. In the morning, you have taught them physics. In the evening, talk about life. Do fun things. Let your brain not just be engaged in one activity all the time. Go off video for some time. Connect with friends on the phone. Don't just connect on video on the camera. Use your phone, and if you can go offline where you stay, maybe there are people. Maintain your COVID protocols. Stay 6 feet apart, but talk. Go out there and talk to people. Use body language. Use your eyes. Use your voice, and share life. One of the things that has always helped me for not just this thing, but for many things, is write a journal. At the end of the day, sit down and write about your day. That helps you to express what you are going through. That could be a private journal or could be a public journal. Schedule time off from your digital devices. So that means your laptop, your phone, your tab, your television screen, everything. So schedule a time every single day to just get off digital media. Maybe a couple of hours every day. What I do in the night is to schedule I've scheduled my phone to not send me any notification after 11 o'clock in the night till about 5 in the morning. So I don't receive any notification except from people I know will call me in the case of an emergency. So I do that. I also put the phone away and I read a book, a printed book. Read that. So your mind is not just receiving digital content, but also is using its muscles to read printed matter on page. Um, and so I know that this video is also getting too long. So I will end here, but I hope that you cope through this situation. I hope that you come out at the end of it better off. We have no idea when this is going to end. And I think even after it ends, we are going to have a hybrid lifestyle. So we will be on digital media many times, inclusive of offline. And we must actually know how to deal with this digital fatigue. So I hope that this video helps you. I hope that you find worth in it. Do subscribe and like this video, and have a great day. Thank you.